Like many in Somalia, one young Somali woman living now in the United States has had to overcome many obstacles. Heather Hatzenbula has that inspiring story.
Since civil war broke out in Somalia in 1991, hundreds of thousands of Somalis have fled the country as refugees. One of these people is Yasmin Yonis, a 21-year-old Somali who left the country with her family as a young child.
We fled to Kenya, and then my aunt was in America at that time, was able to sponsor us, and that's when our life as Americans started.
Many things that were part of childhood for Yasmin required her to act with the responsibility and maturity of an adult. Having parents that didn't speak English, she acted as a translator for them and took care of certain important tasks, such as scheduling doctor's appointments and registering for school. Similarly, Yasmin says the September 11th terror attacks on the United States were difficult for her to understand.
I stopped being a kid on 9/11. I remember I was in 7th grade, and I was in my social studies class, and one of the teachers ran into the classroom while we were doing some work and said, turn on the TV, with this urgency in her voice. I remember them saying something about Muslims had done it. And for me, I couldn't conceptualize that, because for me, being Muslim meant being a good neighbor.
Yasmin says experiences only fueled her ambition to achieve. She recently graduated with honors from the University of Georgia, where she earned degrees in journalism and international affairs.
My American dream was to get a law degree and a master's in public policy and really just save the world, but specifically work with communities of color and low-income communities and work on issues of education, of access to resources, of other things that plague these marginalized communities.
Yasmin attributes her success to having two wonderful parents who did everything they could to ensure that she could accomplish anything she set out to do. She felt that academic success was not only her right, but also an expectation and obligation to her family. Specifically, she recalls that encouragement from her father has propelled her through challenges in life.
He said, Yasmin, you're black, you're an immigrant, you're a Muslim, you're a woman, and you are not wealthy. That just means that you're going to have to work 10 times harder than everybody else. But that should never stop you.
This summer, Yasmin is working in the Senate Committee on Homeland Security and Governmental Issues as a Harry S. Truman Fellow. She gets to research the hot-button issues of the day, observe congressional hearings, and interact with senators and congressmen.
Maybe to be a United States senator. I think it's a great way to serve my country, to really have some kind of say in how things are governed and how people's lives are affected, hopefully for the better. And so I definitely see myself coming back.
A self-proclaimed feminist, Yasmin believes that the future prosperity of a country is determined by how well educated its women are.
I really encourage girls to believe that they have just as much, that the world is just as much theirs as their brothers, and that your contribution is just as important, that you are just as intelligent, that you are just as strong, that you are just can be just as ambitious as anyone else.
After completing a fellowship in Washington, Yasmin Yonis will head to graduate school to pursue a law degree as well as a master's degree in public policy. Heather Hatzenbula, VOA News.
For more information on any of today's stories, please visit us online at voaafrica.com. You can also visit us on Facebook. Just search for In Focus.
kadib waxa waaye America uu yimid waana 3 sano wuxuu u shaqeeyay state department uu shaqeeyay 10 years wuxuu ka shaqeeyay oo la shaqeeyay state ka Washington DC hadda wuxuu ka yahay naa'ib a'immatul masajid Atlanta Georgia oo gaaraya almost 100 masaajid uu ka yahay ku-xigeenka mataqaanaa majlis shura. Marka insha Allah waa Masha'Allah Alhemdulillah Imam hadda shaqadiisa ay tahay nin businessman Masha'Allah, Allah barakeeyo. waa nin khayr ka shaqeeya. Hadda waxaan filaa almost bil iyo bar waxaan maleeyahay weekend gurigiis ma joogin. Waxaa waa intaas goboladan ugu duulay khayr Allah siiyo. Marka insha Allah aan waqtigiisa ka faa'iideysano insha Allah. Caawa wuxuu ugu talagalay dhalinyarada oo programka usoo diyaariyey. Insha Allah kulley qaarna waan gaarsiin sida badan, laakiin insha Allah intay joogtaa gaarsiin doonta insha Allah. Assalaamu calaykum insha Allah.
جزاكم الله خيرا يا شيخ حسن، بارك الله بكم واحسن الله عليكم. السلام عليكم ورحمه الله وبركاته. marka si walaalkayga sheekh xasan sheego hadda maanta waxaan ka hadlaynaa dhalinyar, the youth. The building the youth development system baahid waa maxay? Why the youth? We learn from the modality of Rasulullah alayhi salatu wasalam. Rasulullah alayhi salatu wasalam, he gathered great Sahaba that contributed to the society with the youth. One scholar said, if you want to know the future of any given community, come and look at the youth. What are they doing? If you see them in school, in recreational activity, in the masajid, in ibadah, work, healthy, library, study, then that community has a very bright future. Whereas if you see them otherwise, gambling and just playing, and no education, no recreational activity, end up in a very, very bad environment. It's not helping. In Quran, we begin always with dua. Don't forget the dua. We say, Rabbi habli min ladunka durriyatan, not only durriyatan tayyiba, innaka sami'u dua. First and foremost, we as a Muslim, we pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give us good offspring. It's just a blessing of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to have the ni'mah of children. Once we have the children, then it comes to our shoulders the responsibility. From childhood, they are the one going to be adulthood. If every family properly nourish and raise a good children, that in itself is a contribution to the well-being of that particular community, to that particular city, to that particular people. For who we are today, that we retain this iman far away from our culture, far away from our Islamic environment, far away coming from, we retain our identity, build the masajid, the schools, and then pass it on to our children. This is great ni'mah. So we want to develop a system in a structured way to maintain it. First and foremost, our children and youth need safety, free of violence, free of violence. They need to feel belongingness. They need to say, I am an American, yes. I am a Somali, yes. I am a Yemeni, I am an Ethiopian American. You need to have your identity. They need to have that identity. Like all generation, I live in quite few states in the United States, more than 8 states. In Florida, when I lived, there is a neighborhood called, and the identity of original Muslim, the name still there is called Alibaba Street in Hialeah and Miami area. Guess what? Those generations is gone, assimilated and disintegrated. the masajid become museums. Masajid become museums over generation, over time. So it is very essential and critically important to reflect and feel proud, self-worthiness, and feel independent but balanced. A lot of youth problem when you try to regulate their time, they feel that you're controlling them too much. They don't have a freedom because they haven't developed that maturity yet. In time it will come. They're going to have all freedom they need. You as a parent, as the Prophet said, كلكم راع وكلكم مسؤول عن رعيته. At the early age, as we develop, we need to make sure our children are protected. Today, compared to our generation, the youth today are exposed to so much bombardment, information, disinformation, a lot of things. Us, we didn't have to deal with all this, what today's generation going through. We have never dealt with it. Did we went through this difficulties in our time?
Not this time,
No. Did you went through all this difficulty in your time? No. Ask the elders. They did not. But the youth today is going through a lot of challenge. Guess what? In the school they walk through, there is drug. The schools supposed to be educational an institution. In a school, I'm not saying the school authority are promoting this, but the society at large disintegrated. They bring in this to the schools. The schools have all kinds of rules. They are incapacitated sometimes because by themselves they cannot do it. So we have to have several techniques to nourish this and develop competency, and then you pay to master it. A lot of group who are deviated always target the youth. Do you know why? They are easy target and easy to manipulate. I'll give you a few examples. Ataturk, the Turk man, this generation, for them is like a founding fathers. For them, the youth. For the elders, he is the one who betrayed his country to the West, to the elders. But the generation now brainwashed. They didn't know nothing but Ataturk like their founding father. It goes to so many generations to shape. Always, any change, any community, any anthropologist, any social scientist who want to shape the community and the future of any given society, do you know who they're looking for? Who targeting? Children and the youth. The children and the youth are the engine of change, either positively or destructively, depending on how they are fed. So we have to communicate with their expectation and lay down what is their expectation. And they have to build sense of group membership. You see, a lot of youth and elders, we are clash. And I'll give you another example. In our masjid, which Hajj Abdi knows and Hajj Hassan knows, I was the school principal for our masjid and have about 140, 150 Sunday and Saturday weekend schools. So we want the kids to play and pray. Play and pray. We have to adjust to the reality of our time. Because we want to claim them back to the masjid, so in the parking lot we develop a basketball where they play. I said, you need to raise that money so we can build it for you. Guess what? I told them, you come up with an idea. They get together. They said, you know what? We're going to wash cars one weekend. We're going to raise money and we're going to buy for it. I said, go for it. I gave them that full ownership to execute the plan. They raised the money. I got them a truck, a driver to get from Walmart. We built it, we bought it, we brought it to the masjid and helped them build it. They come play at the time of prayer. All elders call them Salah, Salah, the prayer time come. Guess what? Some outdated elders with the current reality, ماشي صلاة بقى كوبا عيارسي. You come to the masjid to play kuba. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. واضح الشياطين يوذي وين. ساسا شيء يعمل واضح وين يعمل. وحلي مش كوبتي بس مثلا بتحدد نوع عيارسي عندنا. عندك ممكن مو جنبا. We were not aware. The next door we know, we've seen that parking lot, basketball court is completely jibimba. I cannot. I was so disappointed. Yeah? I was so upset. How on earth you take this is first of all, they work for it. They built it. Why? How do you dare to break it? Where do you want them to go? Where do you want them to go? So some elders are disconnected in empowering the youth to develop a leadership ability and skills. And we need to help them to do that. Now, what is the bahid wamah? What is the youth need? They need a coach, not a dictator. They need a coach, a mentor. If you leave them alone, total is a big problem. They need some sort of adjustment. They also need to be broken down by age. Like 14 and to 17 is one group. You cannot bring 7 years of age with 14 and mix them up and help them to get along. You end up with disaster or fight because too large gap and clash always will be there. So make sure when you group them according to their mindset and age. By group, you group them. Then when you group them, you connect them with the adults. For each group, you will have one adult, a liaison. Just as a mentor, not a dictator. This liaison is somebody that is sensitive, has compassion towards the children. Don't bring an old man that are outdated. You want to bring the old day, the way he was raised, and bring it in America today and try to enforce it. It's not going to happen. It's a problem. He wants to bring a stick to punish. It's not going to work. You have to be systematic. You have to be gentle and kind and soft and show them rahmah and help them what they like to do. And it's also important to talk about self-esteem. What is self-esteem? You see, not only with children, not only children and youth, you see that with also youth and adults have low self-esteem. Self-esteem is how you feel about yourself, why you feel down, why you are hopeless, why you are you see no future at all. You see, because you lost a job, you see at the end of your life dark, or you did not do well in school. You may be, I tell you that as a counselor, I serve it as a counselor too. Sometimes some students, they might not be academically good. Okay? Guess what? But they may be very good in technical. All you have to do is just shift. You tried it, you failed with math. Your daddy and mommy, this and that, yell at you. You feel, I am dumb, I am not gonna get it. You're not doing well in this. Fall down and say, what is the problem? John and Mary, they're doing well. Or Ali and Mustafa, they're doing well. You born in 9 months like them. You are acquired the same education like them. What are you lacking that are making you fall behind? What is it? A, you don't have a supportive family. B, you don't have a good friend that you associate with. C, you don't have a good teacher, caring teacher that are guiding you, give you the tools. Are you sent to the school with no tools, and that's why you keep failing? There has to be some reason. Say, we sorted out this as a counselor or as an adult that has a compassion working with the youth, and we find out you need some tutor, or you need some resources, you need some adult mentor, then we will stand for you, help you. That will help you feel good about yourself. It doesn't mean if you don't do academically well for the rest of your life and everything else, you're not going to do well. You may be very doing well if we put you into technical school. Change the direction and try it and see the result. Because if you feel about yourself bad, though there is no medicine can be prescribed for you from any doctor. It should start with you. One thing that help you as a Muslim, kick out the shaitan. Fight the shaitan back. Shaitan always want to make you feel bad. Shaitan always love to make you fight with your parent, with your neighbor, with your friend, always. And make sure you are associated with good friends. So you have to partnership with good masjid, with good youth community recreational activities. When you are in high school and you are thinking of college, try to bridge yourself and connect with college students. To the masjid leadership, I will advise, bring a college student back to the community, collect the youth of high school, and give them orientation. Prepare a day of touring. When you are 10th grade, take them to college touring and tell them what is expected of you. You know the roadmap ahead. When you are 9th grade, pay a visit to college. So you will be prepared. What you do in 9th grade is going to affect your college. What you do in 10th grade is going to affect you in college. What you do in 12th grade is going to affect your college. So have the roadmap ahead. You as a student, you need to be focusing doing well in education. In doing well in education, as a community, you'll be doing good. I'll give you one example. I never forget this. Listen to this. I was going to Michigan. In Ohio, those of you, as you go to Ohio, specifically to the city of Toledo, on the freeway, there is a beautiful masjid, white. And I said, what is this? And I stopped by and I went there. When I entered that masjid, I always love to read in the bulletin board. So I saw the bulletin board and read how the masjid was built. About 50 donors, each of them doctors, engineer, high-profiling, educated group of brothers and some sisters, paid $200,000. And about 100 of them paying $50,000. Allahu Akbar. A small city. What is the name of the city? Toledo. Where? In Ohio. Yet very resourceful. The community has a vision. You see, and building the good foundation to the community that help elevate and highly educated. We should not have high school dropout in our community. You should climb it up. Your job as a student, as a youth, is to make sure, inshallah ta'ala, to succeed and make us all proud of you. Before we leave, I'll show you a motivational speech by one Yemeni sister in her graduation speech. We're going to watch it in a minute after I go through this. It's very inspiring. It's very important. Not only we educate men, we need to educate women. Women are our backbone of our society. Women are our backbone of our society. Women are only not meant for kitchens, only just housewife and throw them there, dealing with our dishes and clothing and all this. Allahu Akbar. What about education? What about Islamic education? More important, Islamic education should come first. Duxi will be second. School will be starting from home. And make sure you are equipped with those. So you have to look at your learning options. Try to expose yourself with work experience. I remember, may Allah prolong his age, my father, and give him good health, and still he's in 96 age, Masha'Allah, he's still alive. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give him strength and prolong his age. Guess what? Every 3 months, when the school is closed, he makes sure he put me something to work. I can count for you 5 different work. He put me to work. He put me in goldsmith, how to make gold. When the school is break, he put me in goldsmith and I work. So next year, he put me to work in carpentry. Completely different. I said, Dad, what I have to do with carpentry? He said, son, you need to be global, learn what is out there in the world. The 3rd year, he put me to work auto mechanic. Oh yeah. Every year, when the school is closed, he put me into some sort of summer job. Not for the money. Education. Look at the ocean of wealth of experience, life interacting with different people. You need to do that. So skill development, this is how you develop. And then that will eventually lead you to a good job. It prepare you. As a community, we need to have a unified vision. In Minnesota, where do we want to be the next 5 years? The next 10 years, inshallah, the next 20 years. Question to you all. Are we going to pack and leave overnight and go to Somalia or Ethiopia or somewhere else? Is it going to happen? Are we going to leave? I'm asking the audience. Are we going to leave? Are we going to leave? No? We're not going to pack and leave. So, this is our home. This is our home. We're not going to pack and leave. We're making our living. We're raising our children. We're going to school. We're working. But we don't plan. You see the difference? Mashi bil afiyah. No. We have to now think through. That's where we, in sociology, we study stuff. We study the numbers, the graphic, the numbers, the figure, the direction, the data, where we have been, where are we now, and where we are heading. This masjid already are running out of the space. Today's Jum'ah was packed. Those space people praying outside. Last week, as Hajj was saying, as I was traveling, I was in Virginia. In one of the biggest masjids in Virginia, 2 years ago, they were praying 2 Jum'ah. This is just 3 years ago. Hadda. They pray 7 Jum'ah. 7. تضبط والبحيان قلوب كلا قليا والبحيان قلوب كلا قليا. So the community is now, I am studying the community. When I was living there 20-somewhat years, we did not prepare for this. So this galvanized a huge influx of change, of growth. We didn't plan. No, you have to think ahead. Our numbers is going to be not trouble, is going to be increased. What are we going to do with the parking lot? You have to think. Buying properties next to the masajid, wherever you see property, you have to think. Don't say, I am okay. We paid off, everything okay. No, you have to think. Bahil way talori. The new generation is going to come and don't want to demand more. You, as a founding father to your community, required to have a vision. Set and help the people to dream it, to plan it, to own it, to execute it. That's what it takes. It is possible. So there are challenges. There is no free lunch. To walk, there is a challenge. To eat, there is a challenge. To live, definitely there is a challenge. So, any given problem, there is one proverb saying in Africa, if your problems grows big, like an elephant, you can eat it one bite at a time. Yeah. Eventually, eventually gonna, reach to your desired goal that you set. You start off planning and recruiting and convening key stakeholders in the community. Who's who in the community? Get to know your city officials. The mayors should be the partners to your community. Police chief should be a partner to your community. The recreational, park and recreational should be a partner to the community. The school superintendent, you're lucky enough, this community set a good model, as I mentioned in the khutbah, Brother Abdi is your school board. How you go wrong? You have your own brother as a masjid leadership and also as your school of board of education. Guess what? Abdi is motivating me to run myself when I go back. My problem is if I sit one place, a lot of community members asking me, they said, Sheikh, we really want you to run some office or something to help the community. I said, I have so much community, but if I only stick to your community, to our community in Atlanta, what about to Dallas? What about to Chicago? What about to Minnesota? What about to Ethiopia? We'll see. But eventually, I don't have to be that person in particular. If we all pitch in and partner and on it, it will be helpful. Abdi now, since he's inside, he knows the limit, he knows the budget, he knows the challenges. He can be ambassador to them to understand the African culture, and he will have the African culture to understand the American norm mindset, which we are passing each other, end up clashing. So it is very important to have, be involved, be part of the system. And then once you form this partnership together with elected officials, the government, the governor office, the masjid, with the parent, then collectively you set a goal. And I'm sure even the elected officials have tremendous interest to see the youth succeed. It is in their interest, the youth, not to break the law. We are here to produce a good, law-abiding citizen who are a dynamic contributor to the community. The city government will appreciate this. The state government will appreciate this. The federal government will appreciate this. It's a win-win situation. So in coming together, it will help foster the desired goal that we collectively set. Set goal realistically. Set goal realistically, small chunk, one at a time. So you have to come from the bottom up. You don't say, we the elders, we're going to tell you the youth what you need to do. Khalas. It may not work. Ask them, you're going to come up. Listen to them. What are their needs? What do they want to see happen? How did they want to see happen? What do they need to make it happen? Put the question back to them. What do you want to see happen? So you develop together. I'm just giving you an orientation. If Next round I come, we bring more group, I can set up a form and plan of action and execute it and review it every 3 months, every 6 months together. Opening it is not going to work. Opening is not going to work. Look, if we don't put our houses in order, trust me, the challenge to our community for the very well-being is at stake. A lot of our youth are off track. A lot of our fellow Muslim youth are trapped into drug. It is very sad, but it is the truth and the reality. And alcohol and all this stuff. And gangster. A'udhu billahi minash shaitan rajim. We, the Muslims, supposed to be liberating those who are trapped into, but how? It even reached to us. Because somebody else planned it and we do not have a defensive plan to correct it. Typically, the drug dealers, they know wherever the masjid and the drug store, where they sell the packaging store, they beautify it, they call it packaging store, the alcohol store. Huh? Now, what do? Wherever the masjid, they know they're going to be run out of business. Why? Because in the masjid we teach morality. We teach alcohol is not the way of developing your intellect. It actually is poisoning your intellect. When a person drunk, he breaks the law, he commit crime and end up in jail and disintegrate the family and affect the children as well. It is not something that we take it lightly and should take it lightly. We need to have a set of plan to counter it before it is too late. We need to develop with our budget, limited resources, and a budget that help our youth acquire what they want to see. Start with a scholarship. Every year, in this great community in Minnesota where we are, say, I am told, you correct me if I'm wrong, I am told there are 300,000 Somalis live in Minnesota. Am I right, Haj Abdi? Does that sound right?
That's one of the figures. You know, it depends who you ask, but that's one of the figures.
That's right. So depending on who we ask, this is one of the figures.
Yes.
Haj Abdi said that is what it is. 300,000 Somali living in Minnesota is a very powerful number. Out of this huge potential, okay, can't we afford to give 50 scholarships free for our children? Are we doing it? If not, why not? If not, why not? Why not? So we need to have some vision. We need to have some goal to set. Realistic goal is small junction. And then partner with others. As in Minnesota, as you're already active, to your credit, in number of areas, but still you have a lot of area also to catch up. Always, if you're doing well, you don't numb yourself by saying, you know what, we're doing accuse yourself, I haven't done enough. I should have done more. Always challenge yourself. Then you will do more. Always, what you did yesterday, consider yourself as if you haven't done it. That will also help you not to fall into riyah. خلاص. Or so furious, so down, you know? No. You do this to put in social media, either to motivate and educate others, to learn from you, from others, so they can adapt some of the technique that works somewhere else. That's all. Not to show off. So it is very important to have sincerity أخلاق. من صح له الإخلاص صح له التحصيل والخلاص. If you do sincerely things, Allah will put barakah in it. You see the end result is good. Like once, a big scholar was writing a book. As he was writing the book, وحير نفسه يزوح قال العجب بعد وحير وحدر الشيخ وصو كتاب وصو أخري استعمو قرية. How this book is written, he stopped it immediately. He said, I want to always renew my niyyah. I am doing this sincerely for the sake of Allah. And after he finished it, he said, if I have done this work for the sake of Allah sincerely, he folded the paper with the ink. He threw it in the water. Usually, in the water, the paper will be khalas, will be gone. After a few days, he came back, he found and nothing happened. He said, Alhemdulillah, الذي رزقتني إخلاص على هذا العمل المبارك. He said, I thank Allah that granted me this sincerity to do this work, that Allah protected from being vanished. So, sincerity has its own benefit. Think of also scholarship internationally. I can help you in 2 countries. Scholarship. Egypt and Lebanon. Some Azhar college, Islamic college, scholarship. Okay? Contact me through Hajj Hassan or Hajj Abdi. Inshallah ta'ala, early on application submitted to me, and I will be your ambassador and advocate for you. In this community, let's target 5. Let's target 5. You come up with a good behaving student that are academically doing well. Inshallah ta'ala, let me know. We send them. We teach them Arabic. I'll show you some modality that we teach. It's not a joke. We had a sisters, I posted on my social media, Abdi, I don't know if you have seen it or not. And when we were in Philadelphia, the sister came in from Toronto, know nothing Arabic at all. Not only now she speaks Arabic, she delivered for us a speech in Arabic. She delivered a speech in Arabic. I think I have the video clip, I can play it for you there as well. Resources available. Networking. Corporate America succeed because of networking. If you don't have it here, somewhere else may be available. So we have to network internationally the opportunities that are available so that you can utilize it. Once you identify, set the goal, strategically how to set it, you go one at a time. You don't put it all together in once. You're gonna be failed. If you started too much, so ambitious, you're gonna fall apart. Always keep the stakeholders engaged and informed. Have every 6 months gathering. If you don't have here in the system, Hajj Abdi, I would suggest do every month, 1 weekend, family night. Every month, once family night. And that case, they bring food, families. When we're talking about family, you're expecting father, mother, all to come together. It is family day. You bring one sheikh, you give one topic to address the role of the parent, the role of the children, whatever that motivates to bring change. 12 program every month, every year, set a goal. It's extremely helpful. That's once a month. I adapted in our masjid. It worked very well. Once a month, we're bringing scholars, getting family, and also annually once, family day. Annual family day. Pick the day. either Labor Day weekend or whatever day that you think is good for your community. Do it once a year. I'm not talking about another bid'ah like it's people saying, no, just come together for sharing the resources, excitement, benefit, exchanging information, togetherness, belongingness, networking. So many brothers don't know who the sisters are here to marry them. We don't know each other. We disconnected. Bring a social contact to the community. It helps. Those sisters who are looking for a husband, they will have, if they engage in the community, I tell all the youth, boys and girls, to an Islamic environment, engage in the masjid and be volunteer to your masjid. Get involved. Once you do this, you may see a sister working in a project and the community get to know her. The Islamic proper way you may be interested, don't go to the window, go to the door, proper channel, ask her hand to her family and marry her after you talk to her. And if we are 100 this year, you married, you bring in children, inshallah next year going to be 200 and the number goes up. So we have to have a strategic thinking to our well-being and future. Again, you overcome our challenges by collectively coming together and you get to the bottom of it. Go visit high schoolers and see whether they go into the challenge. Look the neighborhood and help them and be part of those. In summarize, I always say, remember three things. You have to have a knowledge. Imam Bukhari said, باب العلم قبل القول والعمل. You have to have knowledge before you say and before you do. Then he said, العلم والعمل والإخلاص. If you have too much knowledge, if you don't implement it, what good will it do? If you have a lot of knowledge, and second, a lot of work, and you don't have sincerity, it's not going to be good. Because you fall in riyah, which is a great sin, and you don't want to do that. In conclusion, I want to remind you with this verse in Surah Al-Baqarah. This is the last surah that Allah revealed to the Prophet ﷺ. Two surahs connected, and remember, the first surah is what? Iqra. When Allah revealed to our Prophet Iqra, was he given the book to read by himself? No. He said, Ma ana biqari, I cannot read. Then the Prophet had a teacher. Who's his teacher? Sayyidina Jibreel. Sayyidina Jibreel taught him. Allamahu shadidul quwa. Who's Shadidul quwa? Sayyidina Jibreel. So the Prophet had a teacher, so you and so I, and we need to have a teacher. We cannot open the book and acquire knowledge just by reading the book. And some people say, no, the first thing the Prophet said was Iqra. That was specific to the Prophet. Even the Prophet then said, Ma ana biqari, I cannot read. So he was taught how to read. You cannot climb from one grade to another grade by just reading the book. You have to have an instructor to walk you and certify you. A book alone will not teach you. A teacher will. العلم يؤخذ من أفواه العلماء. Now, it's important to have a teacher, proper teacher. Always look at the message and the messenger. You have to know who's the teacher. What knowledge does he have? Where the knowledge is coming from? Today, in the name of Islam, so much information is out there are so corrupted. You have to be very careful. The non-Muslims, some Yahud, they are writing a book, 10,000 books a year in the name of Islam. How would you tell which one is which? Which one is which? With your limited knowledge. So this is how they are brainwashed and insert all this wrong information and have too much firqa, this group fight, that fight, and generate a lot of problems. And they believe this is deen. Like in the case of so-called Salafis or Wahhabism, they think this is deen. And the Shias extremists, they think this is the deen. And the Muslim Brotherhood, they think this is the deen. The deen is moderation and rahmah, shafaqa, ibadah, not slaughtering and killing and destruction. And the last surah of the Quran is وَاتَّقُوا يَوْمًا تُرْجَعُونَ فِيهِ إِلَى اللَّهِ ثُمَّ تُوَفَّى كُلُّ نَفْسٍ مَا كَسَبَتْ وَهُمْ لَا يُظْلَمُونَ. Remember the day that we are going all to return to Allah. There's no question about it. That day is coming, for sure. So therefore, there is a reason why Allah revealed that to the Prophet as the last verse to all of us, to remind us this dunya is a very short period of place, and we need to acknowledge what we do. We need to have a sincere action and do it right. May Allah give us a tawfiq to do this right. And now I'm going to show you if we have, you see Hajj Abdi, we have Wi-Fi there? Wi-Fi? Yes. Okay. I'm going to show you very important Inshallah ta'ala, we are going to computer experts. والفرق بالصوت كده It won't move. What happened?
Full house. So I was born in Somalia. My family moved to the United States back in 1995. We first moved to New York City, where I went to middle school. Then we moved to Minnesota during my high school years. We moved here for many reasons. One of the main reasons was our relatives lived in Minnesota. I'm the oldest of 5 in my family. I graduated from the University of Minnesota. I also was the first to graduate from college in my family. As I have been growing up in Minnesota, in particularly within the Somali community, I've come to realize that the community that I came from have been portrayed in so many negative ways. Imagine for a minute coming from a community that has been stigmatized by gang violence, famine, piracy, poverty, and terrorism. Imagine coming from a community that faced all odds, but yet have been resilient. Did you know that Minnesota has the largest Somali population outside of East Africa? You see, Somalis started moving to the United States and to Minnesota in the early 90s. They moved here for many reasons. Unfortunately, the snow is not one of them. The 20-inch snow does not attract Somalis to Minnesota. I must tell you that. But they moved here for one of the main reason that they moved here was to get away from the civil war back home, for better education, to sustain and provide families back home. But most importantly, last but not least, to pursue the American dream. Question: what is the American dream, and how does such dream relate to the Somali community? See, according to the Library of Congress, in a book called The Epic of America, written by James Truslaw Adams, states that the American dream is that dream of a land in which life should be richer, with opportunity for each according to ability or achievement. And because of this dream, Somali community has been flourishing and thriving in so many ways. They say that if you're a Somali, you're either in business or going to be in business. Most Somalis are business-minded individuals. The Somali community is faith and family-oriented. Even though we are productive and thriving community, we have our own issues. What are those issues? And how can we, as a community within the Somali community, and also how can we, as Minnesotans, come over these issues? Health disparities is an issue that we continue to face. Lack of education is another one. Generational gaps between the youth and the old. Identity issues. Are we Somalis? Are we Somali Americans? Who are we? Radicalization, which we've seen this play out in the media in many times. The recruitment of young Somali men being recruited to terrorist organizations in Somalia, in East Africa, or most recently in Syria. Gang violence is another issue that we've been facing for many years, especially since 2007. Because of these issues, and because of many other issues, about a dozen of youth, young adults from high school level to college level came together, in which I was part of. You see, we had few things in common: education, positive influences, the willingness to empower and to encourage other young individuals, and a nation with limitless opportunities for those who are willing to work hard. See, we had two things in our minds: building the value of this community and also integration. We wanted to get the young people to lead, to take ownership of their community. But in order to do this, the youth must refrain from all negative influences. We wanted to create a foundation, a platform that relates to everyone. Didn't matter if you're old or if you're young. Didn't matter what tribe or clan you came from. This was the moment when the idea of Kajog was born. See, the word Kajog is a Somali term, and it means to stay away or stay out. And the message behind that is to get the youth, or all the individuals, to get away from all, or stay away from all negative influences and put them on the right path, which is what? Education, education, education. We started using the arts as a mean of engagement, because the art is part of our culture. The art is part of the Somali culture. It's an easy tool for us to use. We use the arts to encourage and empower individuals. You see, what started as a grassroots effort, what started as a way to make changes, positive changes in the Somali community, turned into conferences all of a sudden, and events that engages 100, 200, 300 at a time. And then within the group, we asked ourselves, where do we want this idea to go? Where do we want these individuals that we're engaging to go? Where do we see the future of the community? And that turned into programming. And right after that is when that idea became an entity. An entity that remains to be a leader in the Somali community. An entity that is the leader when it comes to the youth aspect and the youth development within the Somali community. An entity that brings fresh new ideas, new innovative ways to serve the community, such as starting the first ever Somali Boy Scouts of America in the United States. And perhaps the world. Also taking a group of young girls to Yellowstone Park for the first time from the Somali community. And this continues to happen every year. Starting 4-H clubs within the Somali community, along with the University of Minnesota. You see, we push the limits of kids and all individuals to think hard and critically so that they're ready to tackle any issues before them. At a very young age, we teach kids how to mentor one another, how to lead one another, how to help succeed one another, so no kid is left behind to be recruited to any gangs or any negative activity. So where is this idea going? Where do we see this idea going that started here in Minneapolis in 2007, that was founded in 2007? Well, our vision is to implement this idea across the world where Somalis live. And we've actually begun to do this. This idea has been used by other nations as a tool of engagement, such as Canada and most recently in Kenya. This idea will be taken and will be implemented in Somalia, and it's already on its way to be implemented in Somalia, where it is needed the most. Why? Because 70% of that population are under the age of 30. Those are the individuals that we need to empower, to take ownership of their nation, so that one day Somalia can be the republic that it once was. This idea has been endorsed and received many awards from the highest level of our government here in the United States. And in terms of the community here, well, I can tell you that if Somalia becomes a safe nation, a better nation than it is today, some of our elders may go back to live there. But for the individuals that grew up here all their lives, such as myself, and the Somali Americans that are born here every day before us, this is their home. This is my home. We're not going anywhere anytime soon. These individuals will help shape not only this community, but this great city of ours, this great state of ours, and this great nation of ours. Thank you so much.
أنت شمس أنت بدر أنت نور فوق نوري أنت شمس أنت بدر أنت نور فوق نوري أنت إكسير وغالي أنت مصباح صدوري يا نبي سلام عليك يا رسول سلام عليك يا حبيب سلام عليك صلوات الله عليك أشرق البدر علينا فاختفت منه البدور أشرق البدر علينا فاختفت منه البدور مثل حسنك ما رأينا قد يا وجه السرور يا نبي سلام عليك يا رسول سلام عليك يا حبيب سلام عليك صلوات الله عليك يا حبيبي يا محمد يا نور سل خافي بيني يا محمد يا مرجع يا إمام القبلتين من رأى وجهك يا سعد يا كريم الوالدين يا نبي